my scrappy friends, welcome to Arty Party Friday. I am sorry this is up a little bit late, but it was Thanksgiving yesterday, and so that just made things go not as planned. So today I am using some leaves to create leaf shape pattern on my background. I used white or like clear gesso on just regular cardstock, and I am spraying these with um, the sprays. They're Inklings and Vibes from Shimmers, and I really like the way that it looks. The egg noggin is like a gold color, and it's very luminescent. So this other part I thought I had taped when I used the cut file as a stencil, but I guess I didn't. And I just took molding paste or like a modeling paste and colored it green. And then I put it on, and then I added some of my gold embossing powder, and I used some like purpley embossing powder on the top half. And I did that while it was still wet, and then I let it sit overnight, and so now I am just heat embossing it, and here it is. Ta-da! I love the way that this turns out. It is one of my favorite techniques. I will say that the purpley one, I didn't care for the way it embossed as well. Like, it just didn't emboss as nicely. Sometimes I find that if you just keep running your heat gun over it, it just takes a little bit longer. But also I found with the purple, it was kind of burning it instead of just moving it around. So it could have just been because it was the brand. I'm not sure what brand it was, but it was given to me, so. But it's a fun color, and I really like the way that purpley color looks on that green. And with the gold, it just has more of a luminescent color, which is what I wanted. I wanted it to look more like golden. So on this part, I'm just backing this up on some of that Simple Stories wood grain. I absolutely love those wood grain papers. I need to get some more of them because they're my favorite. I love to use them as backgrounds and stuff. And right now I'm looking for some pattern paper because I want to put a little bit of pattern on the back here so I can fold it over and make it look like there's another pattern on the back. I've been doing this lately. It's just been a touch that I've liked, and I don't know, I just think it's kind of fun. And the pattern that I used was a pink paisley paper that had different leaves with different colors, so it kind of works with the leaves. Now, today with the inspiration piece, I didn't really necessarily go with the colors, but just that thought process and that theme. And this is one way that you can use an inspiration piece, but have it look completely different. You don't have to use the colors at all. You can, because there is a lot of florally parts to that, and stuff, I really wanted to use that. There was some mason jars that were painted, and like just the thought process of using the Inklings and the Vibes to spray, or the Shimmers, or what, anyway, the Vibes, that spraying when you spray paint a mason jar. So you kind of see, I don't know if you're going with me on this trip here. But just a technique can make you, you can use that as the inspiration of how you do something. And like I said, there's like some floral, there's some flower petal, or like flowers, but I thought of the petals, and there's some flowers in the mason jar, and it just made me kind of think of like flower or like leaves or something. And so using something like leaves from my backyard, and I just picked them up from my backyard before it got really, really rainy here, and I did this. So I really like the way it turned out. It's just nice and fun. You can kind of see the hints of the leaf pattern, but it's not overpowering. And I've not been one to use a lot of spray, like to spray the sprays on my paper, so it was kind of fun to do something a little bit different. So I just used some alpha stickers that were an Old Basic gray, and they're like a grungy white with pink or like a almost purpley color, like a lilac color dot. And I thought that that would be perfect to use the word grapes, but I'm outlining it so you can see it. And I kind of put it on where that wave, that line, it's like a wave underneath autumn. So it's going to say autumn grapes. And I've used that autumn a few times throughout my scrapbook pages like this fall, and I don't mind that. I mean, obviously when I look through my album, I will go, oh yeah, that's the fall I used that autumn cut file like 5 times. But you know, I don't think my family really is gonna mind, and I think that's something to think about. Is it's okay if you use the same element over and over and over again. Like your family is gonna be like, oh my gosh, you use the same cut file 5 times, and you know, they're not going to. They're going to see the pictures and see the memories, and they're going to be excited and love that part of it. So these are grapes on the vine. I have 2 neighbors that have grapes. They grow grapes, not like a vineyard grapes, but well, but they have a whole bunch of grapes. And so one of my things that my kids were obsessed with this fall were, one, to see the grapes just kind of transform. And then, but also they had tasted a couple when, especially this plant that is in the picture, when they weren't ready yet, they were like really sour, and some were kind of near our yard. And so of course, kids being kids, were like, hey, let's pick some. Of course they did get in trouble for that, because you don't pick other people's grapes. But when they started turning this purple color, they were gorgeous. And so I wanted to make sure I took a picture, because I thought it would be really fun to maybe use this in a layout, talking about how my kids have been talking about grapes like crazy, because they're seeing these grapes, and my other neighbors have grapes as well, and they were mentioning when the grapes were ready that they would let us have some. So I kind of did journaling for the 2 aspects of this, because after I took this picture, our other neighbors had we were supposed to get a really big storm, and they called us over, and they were like, hey, why don't you come and grab like some bowls and stuff and come and get as many grapes as you want. We already took all the grapes off that we need, and this storm is going to knock all the grapes off that aren't, you know, haven't gotten picked. So this is your chance to get grapes if you want them. And so me and the kids, we went over there, and we spent, oh gosh, a good hour or so just picking and getting grapes. And of course it's messy and wet because it's fall time, so it rains in Washington, so you're getting wet, and it's cold because it's starting to get chilly. And it was really fun even though it was super messy. But we got 4 really big Ziploc freezer bags full of grapes. And yeah, they were so good and juicy and sweet and yummy. And it was just an experience I've never had. I've never picked grapes like this. I've had grapes that were wild grapes, and they weren't quite the same growing up in New York. But I thought that this was a really fun experience for my kids. And so now they're definitely wanting to grow their own grapes. And I made sure I put that in my journaling as well. So here you just see me adding layers and layers of stuff behind. Because this is a mixed media layout, I don't mind it being a little bit like more texture. And I say grungy, but grungy in a way of more like that fresh grunginess. I mixed a lot of those greens and I added that purple paper from Pink Paisley, and I really just like the way that the colors look. They look so fun. I wish I had more of a darker purple thread to use, but I ended up using just gray, and I really like the way that texture adds. It's kind of like a messy wooden thing. I mean, I think we all like to use balled up thread. It's something I can do since I don't have a sewing machine. I really wanted to use this because it has some gold, and I wanted to add some more gold elements, but that camera just was not going to work. And I was trying to keep this simple. I really like these wood pieces from Pink Fresh Studios. they add that natural feel. Now, I added some stuff up at the top, and I don't know. I kind of wish maybe I wouldn't have added so much up there, just because I kind of feel like it doesn't really need it. But, you know, when you're doing these layouts, sometimes you just go a little crazy with your product. You're like, yeah. So I'm adding some enamel shapes and stuff throughout. My layout, I had this pack and I was just about done, so I just added a whole bunch of stuff. And then I'm going to add some sequins. And these ones are stars, and they're from the Cute Girl collection that just came out from Crate Paper this fall. It came out, I should say. And so I'm just gluing them down. My glue bottle, I had it upside down and it leaked. I decided, at first I wasn't going to put this Love This on there, and then I just decided I'm just going to go for it because I was almost done with that pack of puffy stickers. And then I have some gold leaves, and I'm like, I'm going to use these. These will be that nice touch of gold that I was looking for. They ended up looking really, really fun on here. So I just had a lot of fun just playing around, adding lots of different things. As you can see, the sides of my paper, I took some of that modeling paste and just used my my palette knife to just kind of make the lines so that you can see these lines. It's almost like, I don't know, like stitching or something, like in a weird way. So I'm gonna draw some lines to journal on, and I'm using this copper pen that I have. I think it's Pentel, and I really, really like it. The only thing is because I use gesso on my paper, I'm gonna use some of this on the sides here too. I thought it just ends up making it look really, really nice and fun, and it just adds these layers. And I think that's the one thing that I like the most about mixed media, is that you can add different kinds of layers and it's just looks so good, you know? And I'm going to add some of these transparent leaves from the Chamel pack. This I think was the last bit of the leaves. I've been kind of hoarding them, trying not to use them on every single layout, like one layout. But I wanted to add like some kind of tag or something, like a date tab, and I couldn't find one that I thought really matched, but that's kind of what I was looking for. And I'm going to spell out yum. Now this is where I realized that that coppery pen wasn't dry all the way, because I was getting it on the letter stickers, and that kind of annoyed me, but I just had to let it dry. So you're not going to see me do the journaling, because but it'll be on there, and I really like the way that this turned out. It just was just nice and fun, a fun layout about autumn, and it's been really fun for me to do these layouts this fall, because I haven't really had a good fall in a very long time. So it's just been really fun having new memories to document. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday if you lived in the United States. And if you didn't, I still am thankful and hope you guys had a great day. I will see you guys later, and thank you for stopping by at the Crafty Maven Getaway channel. Bye.